What is going on, everybody? Jumbo Thick here, back with more Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. This is our Rise of the Forsaken campaign, our 4th edition of the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. And I, of course, will be your DM, your GM for tonight, Mr. Jumbo Thick. And I'm joined by the unfortunate fellowship in all their glory. We've got Jumbo Smooth, Doobie 209, and Mr. Pierce Galactic reprising their roles as the Fellowship. If you care to introduce yourselves, boys.
Hello, everyone. I'll be playing the role of Marius Wolf. I'm Jumbo Smooth. Usually I say I'm a miner, but I've actually switched careers. I am now going down the career of pit fighter.
Yes.
Currently a pugilist.
Pugilist. Mm-hmm.
So just a part-time fighter. Just every once in a while going down for an illegal fight. So
couple fights. It's gonna be awesome.
What's going on, people? It's Doobie 209. As you know, I play Seamus McGreedy, the road sergeant of the Empire. And I just want to thank all the people for commenting on that last video, because all the comments were directed neither towards Seamus nor Marius. They were all directed towards someone else having something bad happen to that person, and not either of us. Thank you. That is all.
Fantastic.
Thank you indeed.
And the one in question, Mr. Galactic.
Sigmar be praised.
Mr. Pierce Galactic here, and yes, we may see Braggadine getting swatted. There was some comments about that.
There was.
I don't know why. All he is a Bretonnian noble, a master artist, a wordsmith. Recently published a tale of his great adventures with his newfound friends, Marius and Seamus. So I don't know why he would have any concerns, but yeah, I read the comments too. There's a lot of good ones, yeah.
Yes, indeed. So, let's get into this, boys, because we left off on a bit of a cliffhanger, and we have finally returned. The Fellowship is finally returned to Sealburg after their long foyer in the long-lost hold of Carrickzorn, and then the tunnel inhabited by the Cornate followers. You broke your way free, managed to find sanctuary in Sealburg. Mr. Bonneau spent some extra time in the tunnel because he lacked a certain trinket that the other members of the Fellowship has, and was seemingly brought and tended to by Mother Inga, by someone.
Such a sweet woman.
Who knows who brought him there? He never asked. So, as we go through that, we had Mr. McCready and, of course, Mr. Wolf got about some business before Braggadine was returned to Sealburg on his own volition. You took a trip to the Garden of Moor, the newly erected to you guys, but somewhat older graveyard in Sealburg, where Seamus consulted Father Horst, the head of the, the leader of the Cult of Moor in this local area. He is the main authority over the garden here, above the other acolytes, and of course the Knights of Moor, which stand guard. You received a item, Seamus. You received a helm with the visage of a skull, with the tattooing of a blackened rose underneath kind of its cheeks. Very Day of the Dead kind of style, but it is a aspect of Moor, perhaps. Who knows? Regardless, he said it would help with your condition that you are afflicted with currently. But that is all the answers he had for you as far as that was concerned. Meanwhile, while you were talking to Father Horst, Mr. Wolf was going to pay his respects to the long-dead Father Leachter. And in doing so, he discovered that through some insightful rolls, we'll call it, that the grave of Father Lichter was in fact empty, and that something was very amiss in the Garden of Moor. As well, once Bragadine was returned, he set about writing a very descriptive novel involving the Fellowship and their deeds, and pretty much the entire previous adventure in very detailed, of course, very much skewed in Bragadine's favor. He was the savior of all, so on and so forth.
Every word was true. Every
Of course,
word.
it was all true. All of it. Every ounce truth. But may have left some rather interesting details in said book that may draw certain prying eyes. Speaking of which, before we go much further, I'm going to say for plot purposes, and for practical purposes as well, that you have made contact with the publishing house in Nuln, Bragadine, that you are going to be selling your book to them. It's not officially done yet. It's not, you haven't, basically, you have finished
Agreed,
the...
but no contract has been signed.
Yeah, you have finished the final draft of what you think is the final draft before you get any notes from them. They might ask for revisions, so on and so forth. But you've completed your final pass over your script, so it is ready to be sent, and the choice is going to be yours. We'll get to that in a moment. But currently, where we left off, Bragadine was working in his new studio that he has, which you do have like a pretty decent living space that was gifted to you by the Governor Fries of Sealburg, not too far from the town center. A bit of a walk to the Silver Thaggy if you were going to do so. Not that you would spend much time there, unless it was just to visit Marius, as I'm sure you would prefer your drinks in a more decadent place, I'm sure.
Now you're talking.
Exactly. Seeing how they probably don't serve a
always
lot of
need
wine
inspiration.
in the Thaggy, so yeah. But exactly, you need some inspiration. Blow off a little steam every now and then. So you do have a nice studio. Meanwhile, Mr. McCready was actually off doing his job, road wardening, where you also picked up, you found a dead body that was littered with, I believe he had a crossbow bolt in him, dead, and you assumed it was possibly some kind of bounty hunter of some kind because there were bounty contracts in a satchel that he had that was recovered by your minions of a sort, Mr. Bertrand and Giggles. And you have now actually kind of pondered the idea that you might perhaps transition away from road wardening, because it was only just a job of opportunity as it was once you returned to Sealburg. There might be a little more coin and a little more prestige in bounty work.
Ooh, yeah.
So
Seamus likes his money.
perhaps Seamus has the bright idea to maybe become a bounty hunter soon. And there was, in fact, a bounty on one Three Fingers. There were several others, but the one that really stuck out to you was Three Fingers. Mm-hmm. And then at the exact same moment, as the party is completely split, Marius had returned to the Garden of Moor and basically informed, or more so maybe accused even, Father Horst of dereliction of duty, as you basically let it be known that the grave of Father Lichter was empty. He ran to the grave and found it so, and was in shock as we ended.
Scandalous.
That's extremely scandalous. So, I believe I've hit all of the high notes. So, we're actually going to open up on Mr. Wolf. We're picking up right where we left off. So, Marius, you are running up, and the door is open for at Father Lichter's tomb, was his mausoleum, and the priest Horst is it just wide-eyed, looking at the empty coffin. There's nothing there. And it looks like there hasn't been anything in there for a long time. Because the coffin was slightly off-kilter. The lid was, at least when you entered. And it looks like there's a lot of mold growth and things of the sort that happens over years. That this coffin may have been empty. And he just looks in shock, and then he looks to you. You. Do you have an explanation for this?
That's why I was asking you, Father Horst.
And as you say that, Marius, you hear of heavily armored plate boots charging in your direction. As you glance over your right shoulder towards the entrance of the garden, you see several of the knights, the fully blackened plate knights of Moor, running in your direction after the heated voices of Father Horst and yourself being raised.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't speak, but they're beginning, they see Father Horst step out of the mausoleum, and they actually are all clutching their halberds, but not threateningly yet. There are 4 of them, and they're starting to take up positions around you. Would you like to do anything in this moment?
No, Marius is probably going to be pretty...
Okay.
Try to be pretty
I'm
non-threatening.
giving you an opportunity before you get into a position
Yeah.
you might not be able to escape from. Okay. So,
I know.
yeah, they begin to surround you. They're beginning to, and it looks like you can tell you've been in this situation numbers of times on your recent adventures. You are being actively surrounded, being boxed in by these heavily plate knights. And they don't have their halberds leveled, but they are taking up position. And Father Horst steps out. This can't be possible. And then he's kind of glancing around, and some of the acolytes are kind of meeting his eye now, and they look a little beginning to come his direction. Mr. Wolf, you say you had nothing to do with this?
Correct. Father Horst, I considered Father Lictor a friend.
He's going to make
desecrate his grave.
He's going to make an intuition test. I need you to make a charm roll, and you better do pretty good on this.
Oh, gee. All right. Does he find me attractive?
He does not find you attractive. He probably...
Hey, bro. I gotta ask, you know?
Yeah, I know. God bless.
Settling.
20
out of 48.
Okay, that's good. So, that's good for you, at least for now. That's 2 levels. Well, is that... Yeah, 2 levels of success. Okay.
Yeah.
Father Lictor looks at you, and he looks at you...
Change.
Yeah, he looks at you hard for a minute. And he just kind of... Yeah.
I fought with him against the beastmen.
I've
Ravaged our
heard.
gates before. He actually saved my life. Using his divine might to slay a giant beast that was attacking myself and a friend.
I believe you, Marius. This is quite shocking. I've never had this happen before in all my years of tending the gardens of Moor.
I just ask is just so I can try to figure out what happened to him. I know I was away for a long time, and I do not know what happened in the interim. I have heard rumors of disagreements, but surely no one would dare.
Well, Father
Son of Sigmar.
Lictor was, when I first arrived, was the priest of the Temple of Sigmar, the local temple, at least. Briefly, I was not here long. I was beginning to establish this very garden. In fact, he himself helped me put down several protective wards on this land. It is quite sacred, in fact, which leads me to believe that I do not suspect foul sorcery, but you never know with the ruinous powers. The Dark Ones themselves wear many faces, and they're quite treacherous. And he takes a moment, and he steps away, and he enters the mausoleum. And it looks like he's mumbling something. He's kind of whispering to himself. And he's looking down at the coffin. Mm-hmm. Would you like to do anything, or were you going to wait?
Probably wait. If he's still within like earshot of the
I mean you can see him. You can actually see him, and okay. you're within earshot. You're probably only like 10 feet away.
I probably won't move in towards him, but I'll just be kind of standing there talking and
okay.
Father, did you? DM question first.
Yes.
Is it? I would assume it'd be customary for the priests of Moor to be the ones who prepare the body.
That would be custom. Okay. For the most part, yes. There are for when he just got here, he would be the primary one to tend to the important people of importance for sure.
Sure.
After the temple is established, the acolytes probably are the ones that do it. And then if you do run into a town, this is just general lore, that doesn't have an established place, usually a doctor or something of some kind will kind of do what they can until you can get them to a graveyard or just bury them yourselves. So, but in this aspect, being in town, especially since he was town when he passed, he would have been the one to probably look over his body.
Okay. Father Horst, if I assume, I hope I'm correct to assume that you were the one who to prepare Father Lichter's body.
And another
passed.
Yeah, another 2-3 minutes go by where he doesn't speak to you. He's just murmuring to himself, and you can hear the creaking of the blackened armor of the Knights of Moor, but they don't utter a sound. They're just very quiet. But then after those minutes passed, Father Horst steps out of the mausoleum. I sense no foul magic. Specifically, the dark arts of necromancy is not upon this soil.
Sigmar, be praised.
His body must have been moved by more conventional means. And he looks up at the knights, and you see one that has a particularly helm, like a winged helm that stands out a little different. And he looks up to him and just kind of gives him a nod, and he begins to step away. And as he does, the other 3 knights step away and begin moving back to wherever their posts are.
Okay.
Mr.
Father,
Wolf, this is...
You didn't have...
Go ahead.
Oh, Father, you didn't perhaps notice anything suspicious about Father Lichter's body or type of death?
Well, I will say that I know not how he actually perished. That was not revealed to me. I was just told that I would be interring one of the faithful. I had this mausoleum prepared. But, rather strangely, I was denied the right to prepare his corpse for his interment to join Moore's garden, and of course his Lord Sigmar.
May I ask, who barred you from such task?
It was quite strange. I had just gotten here, and I believe Mr. Huss had some involvement, but the one who actually barred me was Governor Freeze. He told me that they would handle it themselves, and I was just to ensure that his entombment was successful and to establish a space for the locals to observe their fallen hero, as he was much loved by this community, which I also found strange when, after just a month or two, many had not come to visit.
It would baffle me, seeing your servants here, your brothers, and their prodigious size and strength, that anyone would dare try to steal a body from here. Grave robbers.
It would not be unheard of in many gardens, though I have yet to catch anyone doing so here in Sealburg, but there's always, especially now with this evidence, there's always possibility. Now, I can see where you are leading me, Mr. Wolf, and before I begin telling you anything else, I will need you to do something for me that you may not like.
What would that be, Father?
I need you to not tell anyone of this.
How shall I investigate if I
I
cannot tell?
am glad that you have agreed to investigate this, because I will need you to. The locals do not speak to me, they fear me. Strange superstition. You understand. And he kind of
course.
gives you a nod, and he kind of nods at your hair. That's very unusual. And of course the scars across you.
Yeah.
I will need someone that perhaps can go where I cannot. I have many suspicions, especially now that this has been brought to my attention. First, now that you mention grave robbers, I have seen a rather suspicious-looking figure that has come to the garden several times. From what I understand, he has no family interred, but he has visited, or strangely not necessarily visited, but gazed upon several graves. Very particular graves. He was a dirty, very kind of had dirt across his face, his arms. Was definitely a local. But he had strangely perfect teeth. All of his teeth, in fact, and they were very much white. It was highly unusual. And he looked like he had the hands of a craftsman of some kind. Maybe he works the mine. I don't know. But he's the only suspicious-looking figure I've seen as of late. Between that and just the rats that we do our best to keep out.
Oh, the rats. Father, did you perhaps have a name for him?
I did not get his name. I never got the opportunity. He would always quickly leave before I could ever approach.
Do you know the graves that he visited?
The ones that I saw him eyeing, at least, and he begins walking in the garden. Well, I call it the garden, in the cemetery. He begins walking, it's not huge cemetery. It's a decent size, but most of it looks like it hasn't been put to use yet. And as he's walking, he points out a few graves, and you can tell that the stones on these graves are more ornate than many of the others. They are probably from somewhat wealthier people that have passed in Sealburg. You don't have any specific or any names that would mean anything. They wouldn't stand out to you since you weren't present.
Only thing I would notice is that it's more affluent.
You would definitely. Probably. I mean, you're smart enough to kind of look at the stones and tell that, especially with your experience stonework, in the mine, that you could tell that these are definitely superior pieces of craftsmanship than just some of the more standard markers around here. These were the few that I caught him eyeing. But besides that is the only suspicious figure I've seen, outside of the fact that Father Lichter was not visited whatsoever. Besides from that woman I've seen you with a few times, strolling about town. I'm assuming that is your wife?
Woman. Not wife.
I see.
Sigma
and he
figure.
just kind of... he just kind of gives a disappointed look. And
yeah. The shame, I can feel it. I can feel the shame.
Yes, I see.
Oh, Marius feels sad. Alas, I hope the good Father can forgive me for not visiting as soon as I got back 8 years ago.
Well,
but I will try to make it right in finding who has wronged him in such a way.
I will also tell you this, Marius. The dead do rise. Though not from the garden, at least while I'm here. And I did see his body. He was no doubt dead. Or at least that's what he was made to appear to be. This is all very strange to me. And everyone in the town, there was a large funeral. The casket was open when it was brought here.
I will try to find out what happened to him. I do give my word, I will not tell anyone about his body being missing.
This is more so until we can complete our investigation, because I tell you now, Father Huss, and he gets a bit of a distant look in his eyes before he snaps back, has taken to some of the more extremes of your faith. And he has been spouting, and he's trying to be careful with his wording.
Sure.
Desires to see Sigmar as the one and only god worshipped in Sealburg, and the Empire as a whole.
I've heard of his fervor.
Just be careful. If word were to get out that the body of a holy man went missing from the Garden of Moor, I fear what he might do.
Of course. I will investigate. Would you mind if I brought in a few of my friends?
This would be Seamus, of course.
Of course. Seamus is, renowned for the fear he inspires, and a lot of times can probably wrangle up a confession or two.
Indeed.
Also, I have a more recent friend, a more affluent individual who might be able to get in some places I cannot, and perhaps investigate. Is it all right if I share that?
Just be careful, Marius.
Of course.
I have faith in you.
Thank you.
May more guide you on this path. And he kind of just nods his head and begins to walk off towards his abode, very troubled look on his face.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and then... Yeah.
I'm assuming are you leaving?
Yes, I'll be leaving to go to probably Bragadine first.
Okay.
Since I know he's probably in town.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
All right. In that case, we are going to hard shift to Mr. Bonneau. Bragadine.
Yes.
You are in your studio. Currently, you've finished the last pass of your supposed final draft of your collective work. Which, do you have a name? Or a tentative name, perhaps, for your book?
I like the sound of Bragadine the Bold.
Bragadine the Bold. Fantastic. Like the Adventures of Bragadine the Bold, or...
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes. I like that. May I use that? That Adventures of Bragadine the Bold.
Okay. Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. All right. And this is probably book one of many, of course.
We do need to write another book to sell to make the money.
Well, you have finished your first pass. Oh, and I almost forgot. All of you guys will be receiving a fate point back if you've used it. If you used a fate point.
Oh, yeah.
All of you will get one back for completing your previous adventure.
Sweet.
So yes. And before we go any further, all your money is gone, all of you. And we're going to roll for money real quick because I forgot once again.
All right.
So, Marius, I'll have you do it real quick, and I'll do that on each one. Do you remember yours?
I'm brass 5, I think.
Okay, so you got to roll me 5d10, sir.
Okay.
What'd you get?
I'm still rolling.
Damn it. Taking so long.
Jesus.
Hope it's bad.
21.
21 brass. That's what you have to start with.
I rolled 2 ones.
So, that's so good. These are this was basically your small pot that you won from your last pit fight, probably the night before even.
Oh, gee. All right.
So that's what you have in your pocket currently. Bragadine, do you remember your status?
Silver 5.
Okay. Roll me 5d4.
5d4. Alright. Good thing I went and grabbed some d4s here. Oh yeah, 7, 11, 13.
Okay, 13 silver.
All right.
And Seamus, do you remember yours off the top of your head?
Silver 4.
Okay, same thing. 4d4 this time, though.
Nine.
Okay, you have 9 silver in your pocket.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So that brings us now, with all of that out of the way, all the housekeeping out of the way, brings us to Bragadine. So you've finished the last dotting of the T and the I's of what you believe will be your final draft. You have established a connection in Nome for this book, and you know that they will be expecting it, perhaps. There's been interest in the wild pitch that you've given to them of the adventures of Bragadine the Bold. And in doing so, you begin to collect the pages. And it's a decently hardy collection of pages. And you prepare a envelope of a sorts, kind of put it in. Do you have, this is an interesting question, do you have a seal, like a family crest or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to assume you probably have the ability, you probably have candles and whatnot, whatever kind of wax. They actually didn't use candle wax, they used a different type of wax, but it doesn't matter. You put a seal on the closed portion, and for all intents and purposes, your manuscript is ready to be shipped by whatever means you go to do so. But before
excellent
that happens, you hear a knock at your door.
A light tap or like?
Oh no, it's loud. It's loud as hell, and it sounds like loud.
I walk over. Is there any like a small window or something where I can kind of peek out?
There, I would say the windows are high set, but you being yourself, you have a stool pulled over to one already because you've done this once or twice. You stand up on the stool, get a good peek, and you don't really see anyone at the door, but there's a bit of almost like a hedge in the way. Go ahead and make me a perception check real quick.
Okay. It could be good or bad. It's 55. So, it's bad.
Yes.
So that's a critical fail. Yeah, it's
Okay.
bad because I'm not using my acute hearing on this. It doesn't seem like it would apply.
No, it probably would not apply. So what you see, so you go to look, and you slip for a second, and you kind of head kind of hits the window, and then you hear another tat 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 tat. And then,
I'm coming. Hold your horses. I climb down and I go over to the door and Who is it?
you're not going to open it? Are you saying this with the door closed? That's what I need to know.
I'm saying this with the door closed.
Of course you are.
Enough of this foolishness, Mr. Bonneau. Open the damn door.
It is the all too familiar voice of Mr. Krieger, who you refer to as the servant of the Governor Freeze.
Oh yeah, the little man. I open the door.
The little man stands at almost the same height as you. His face is flushed and red, and in his hand, you see he's dressed very nicely for a quote unquote servant. But he looks very disturbed. Mr. Bonneau, if you could perhaps steal yourself away from this glorious writing you're doing, and perhaps check for your mail occasionally, that would be much appreciated. I refuse to bring this garbage to you every so often. And in his hands, he has a rolled parchment and a bag. It looks almost like a small sack.
I chuckle heartily as I reach forward and grab the items from him and say,
Do you snatch them, or do you just grab them?
Not snatch, not aggressive. I kind of grab them. I've got one arm, kind of got the bag underneath my arm underneath the bag or parcel, and then I'm grabbing the scroll with the other one, kind of firmly but gently pulling them back.
Okay. You pull them
Chuckling
away.
while I'm doing this though.
You chuckle, and his face even gets even more red if it can. Oh, you, and then he stifles an urge to say anything else,
way to you, Mr. Bonneau.
And he spins on his
Sir,
heel and begins walking away
thing,
briskly.
You may want to see the apothecary. You do not look well, sir. As he
And,
walks away.
and he just keeps storming. He storms even faster. You're just going to stand there?
Inside my studio.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not standing there. I'm going back inside my studio.
Mm-hmm.
I go and near
close
my
the
desk, my writing desk or table.
You
Put
leave the
that
door
down,
open.
Go
That's
close
fine.
the door behind me.
Okay.
No, just for a second while I set the stuff down.
Okay, do you lock the door?
Go back, close
Do you-
the door. I do lock the door.
Okay, all right.
And I go back and I first I inspect the scroll.
Okay. So as soon as you look at the scroll, it is, I mean, you can tell just from touching it, and you being one associated with the finer arts, especially that of writing, you can tell that this is very fine parchment. This is not just paper. This is, this is parchment. This is high quality stuff that people can write on. And you give it a good smell. Oh, it smells beautiful. And there's just something very warm and caring about the smell that brings you back to your childhood. And you look, and there's a crest sealing this, and it looks identical to the one that you sealed your recent manuscript with.
Oh, well, Raggedy is excited now.
Okay.
Perhaps a letter from home.
Do you break the seal?
Oh, I do.
You break the seal and you unroll the parchment. And it is a letter written in Bretonnian.
Grab a seat, sit down, and I read it.
Okay, you begin to read. It reads at the top. My dearest little knight, and then there's a bit of a smudge, almost, like over part of the first line. And then you see that it picks up again, and it says, "You have not sent word of your arrival at Sealburg, but I have been informed that you are healthy and writing no less. I wish I could see you. I will always be proud of you, Bragadine. Your father, of course, has asked of you several times."
The smile I had as I was reading has disappeared.
Yeah, of course. And then it goes on to say, "I am looking forward to reading these epic tales I've heard of your adventure and heroism, no doubt. I do know that you and your father are not on the best of terms, that there's no hidden fact. And I have recently found out that he is the reason you have been sent away, and for that I am quite sorry. But do not lose hope, little knight. I am sure you will make us both proud one day." Then there is a stop. And then the letter picks up again in almost like a new paragraph. "Your brother is doing quite well, and your sisters have missed you. They have asked of you. Of course, your youngest has very much asked for you. Because, as you will now be informed, your youngest sister is finally to be married. We are holding a grand tournament in her honor, with the local dukes and lords of Paravon and from some other far-off parts of Bretonnia coming to compete for her hand, as it has been deemed that she is quite the beauty. I know you very much enjoy these gatherings, and I wanted to an extended invitation on my behalf to return for her wedding. I understand that this journey is long, and hopefully this letter reaches you in time. But I would very much enjoy your company, Bragadine. Here is some money to help secure passage and protection, little knight, though I doubt you'll need it. Be safe. Love. The Lady Erica Benoit.
Bragadine lets out a big sigh and kind of leans back in his chair. His hand kind of dropped aside, holding the letter, and he does like a face palm. Looks like I'm going to visit home.
Of course you are. And the thought then crosses your mind, Bragadine. You have a fully written manuscript in your hand. You may have a choice, Bragadine. Do you take this manuscript with you to Bretonia? Perhaps show your mother of your tales of heroism? Or do you send it on its way to be published and known? And then send her a copy perhaps later.
It would be so nice to actually have something that Mother could read and I would not be ashamed. The publisher, they can wait. They can wait. I will make Mother proud. Perhaps I will make Father and Gerard proud once they see of my epic adventures. I start to pack it up with my stuff.
Okay, you begin packing your things. You get fully packed or ready for travel as much as you can be. And what exactly, is there anything of note that you take with you besides the manuscript? Free reign here.
I will need
you are in your studio. You have access to many things you've probably collected over the few months, or it's probably been about 3 or 4 months since you've been nursed back to health and have taken up residence here.
Do I have any weapons? Like a small sword or
you
rapier?
Have a dagger,
perhaps.
You have just a dagger.
A dagger, that's fine.
I will say this. Are you going to check the sack that was sent with the letter?
Oh my gosh, I forgot. Where's my head today? Put this in the satchel over here.
Yeah, you
and I go over there and
you pick it up. It's got some heft to it. You jiggle it a little bit. You hear coins cleaning against each other. You open it. There are 25 gold coins in this bag.
Oh, shit.
Hot damn.
They are stamped with the mark of Bretonia, so they are Bretonian money, and I don't remember the name of the Bretonian money right now, but they spend the same. They spend the same.
That's right. I would definitely start to pack my things, maybe a small trunk, and
okay.
I will need to get help on this journey. Perhaps that fine gentleman Marius will join me. Let me see if I've jotted down that place he likes to go to. The Saji or somewhere on this desk.
You begin wrestling with that. Are you dragging your trunk outside, or are you going to go find them?
Oh no. We're not leaving right at this moment. I'm getting stuff ready. That's kind of the frantic heat of the moment.
Okay.
And I'm going to calm down for a second, and I need to get some help with this because I have to get a coach or buy a horse.
That's true. That's either one might be able to be secured. As you go to move out of the room to secure passage, what do you bring with you? For instance, are you leaving the manuscript and the money in the room? Important questions.
What a leading question. I don't think I want to carry. I don't think Bragadine wants to carry around his prized manuscript and a big bag of money, just walking down the street.
So, are you going to leave both behind?
Actually, we're gonna take the manuscript. We're gonna load our purse up.
Okay.
And just kind of put the rest of the money and the gold just away a little bit because I'm still packing. But yeah, I'm gonna head off to find Marius.
Okay. You open the door. I'm assuming you lock it behind you.
Oh yes.
And you have like an old-fashioned kind of key. And there's a pretty decent lock on this door. You're fairly confident this will keep ruffians out. You lock it, and then you take it a few steps away. Give me a perception check, Mr. Bonneau.
All right. Is this going to be where I'm using my ears too, or just if I notice something?
It'll be your choice.
Okay. I rolled a 16, so let's actually just with my eyes actually.
Okay.
So
how many levels is that?
50.
Okay. All right.
3.
All right. 3 levels. You turn around and you notice there are a couple rough-looking individuals across the street staring at you. They look dirty, and one of them's got like a silver capped tooth, and he's kind of picking at his teeth. And the other one it looks like eating some kind of vegetable or something, kind of chewing on it. And then you notice them glance at you as soon as you lock the door, and one of them kind of tosses his vegetable to the ground and begins moving in your direction. Not looking to get attention upon themselves,
time of day is it?
But they're trying to tail you. It is actually about it's almost midday, so it's rather early.
How far away from like a market street or a street where there would be at least some kind of traffic on the way to?
You're probably about, if you're walking, you're probably about 10 minutes to the town square, to the town center, where there are stalls and market things set up daily for food purchases and things of that sort. You can see down to it. There's quite the crowd down there. Not like unusually large crowd, but there are people going to and fro. And there are even people on the street here kind of walking by. Not as many, of course, maybe a few, 2 or 3. And more affluent people apparently live on the street that you're on. And most of them are just minding their own business, walking by.
And I can still get to the tavern from the square, right?
You have to cross through the square and then go into another street on the other side to get to the Thaggy.
I trying to act casual, but wound up tight and super alert. With a brisk walk, head towards the square.
Okay. All right, you're heading towards the square, and as you do, you notice that they're definitely keeping pace with you. Bragadine, I need you to make me a dodge test.
Damn it.
As you're walking past
locked up my book.
Open alley between 2 of the houses coming up.
Oh. 100.
Oh.
I think we're gonna use a fortune point.
Okay.
I just don't want it to be that critical. Let's see here. 17 under 33. 1 level of success.
1 level of success. Okay.
Better than 100.
Bragadine, you're walking at a brisk pace, looking back, and as you look back, a big meaty paw wraps itself around your face, claps around your mouth, and throws you into the alley.
Oh, unhand me, ruffian.
And you kind of say, oh, as he hasn't let go of you, and you're kind of just thrashing there. And you are lifted off of the ground. Your feet are no longer touching. They're just dangling there like a small child. And the other two men all of a sudden appear at the entrance of the alley, and they're both smiling. Good job there, boy. Keep him like that, nice and taut. And the one with the silver-capped tooth begins moving in your direction. Braggadine, I need you to roll me initiative.
Shit. Oh, this is terrible. Rolled 1. My initiative is 4. So initiative 5.
Okay, 5, Braggadine. So the man holding you tightens his grip a little bit more, and it hurts. And he is firmly restraining you. You're going to need a pretty decent strength check against him at this point to set yourself free. The dagger that you keep on your person, where is it, on your waist or is it in your boot?
It's on my waist.
Okay, all right. So they have you lifted up. And as they do, the two ruffians step in, and the one with the silver tooth, search him. And the other one, that was chewing on the vegetable, and they both look just like dirty, filthy people, begins touching you, begins feeling all over you. And of course, he gets to the dagger. Oh, this looks like a nice piece. And he slips the dagger off of you. He's going to take that. And that's going to be the end of their turn. So now it is your turn to attempt to do something, if you would like, Braggadine.
Who are you? Why are you doing this to me? Let me down. Surely we can come to a better agreement than you just robbing me in an alley.
Okay. Are we attempting to charm these people? What are we doing here?
Oh, I'm attempting to charm them.
Okay, give me a charm roll. It's going to be opposed by their rolls, but go ahead.
Okay. We're gonna use another fortune point.
Okay.
It was really bad. Okay, so that's not really any better. Let's see. I got 70. I got 1 level of success.
1 level of success as you very meekly spout out those few syllables of language. And the one with the tooth, the silver-capped tooth, just kind of... What you got to deal with us? Maybe we can come to an agreement. What you got on you, boy?
Just some useless papers, but
and
I look at you and I see that...
Oh, yeah, they begin feeling you up even more now, because it's their turns now. And the other guy, he goes, oh, yes, boss, check this out. And he rips your coin purse that has all your silver coins in it away from you. Oh, good find. And he tosses it to him, and the boss catches it. Oh, yes. This is going to make the rest of this so sweet. As he pulls the string taut and then tucks it into his own. Does he have it? And then he begins feeling you, and then you see him start to feel into the satchel that you have your manuscript in. Pulls it out. This it, boss? The paper thing's in here? And then he kind of looks at it. Of course, you oaf! Give it here! And he snatches it away from him. Deal with him! And he begins walking off. What are you doing, Braggadine?
So I'm still dangling in the air?
You're currently dangling in the air. And you have just been stripped of your money, your weapon, and your pride.
Damn.
I'm going to try to... I don't know if I can do this. Try to break out.
Okay.
See if I can wriggle free.
Give me...
I want to see if I can wriggle free here.
All right, give me a strength check. It's opposed by the large man holding you.
Gentlemen, wait a second.
What did you roll?
Just let that man take the money? I didn't even try to roll, man. I didn't even try to roll. I gotta beat like 30. I didn't even roll.
Okay.
Gentlemen, why don't we please set me down. Let us talk a little bit. I'm concerned that this other man is taking advantage of the two of you. I see you two still standing here with me, but he is left with the silver. I'm gonna try and charm to see if they'll like.
All right, give me a charm test. Give me another one.
Okay. Come on, don't roll 100. Oh yeah, that's a 32 under a 79. So is that 4 levels of success?
Okay, all right. So you begin, and the one holding you you feel his grip slacken a little bit, not completely let go of you, slacken a little bit, and then the one that was eating the vegetable, you can tell he's got like rotten teeth, and it smells horrible. The smell coming out of his mouth as he gets real close to you. You saying the boss gonna try to rip us off?
I'm saying I see 3 of us here, but I see the man with the money leaving.
And he looks up. He's like, hey,
I know what that looks like.
What are you doing, you bloke? Tighten you! And he's yeah. And he begins to tighten again. And as he does, the small man begins rocking you with body blows. You're gonna get 2 punches to the guts.
Man.
Let's see here. You're about to take 7 wounds from the first blow because they get significant advantages because you're being grappled. You can subtract your toughness bonus. The first one in the gut. The second one, yep, that's definitely going to hit you. There's no way you're going to be able to defend yourself against this. So that's going to be another 7 wounds.
Cough. I moan a little bit.
And then it is now the big man's turn. And the big man is going to begin to strangle you, Braggadine.
Oh, fuck me.
As he's tightening his grip around your throat at this point. It kind of gets you in a chokehold now. And you are beginning to succumb to unconsciousness. You're getting there. Let me see if you actually take wounds from this. I'm not sure you do. You know what? We're going to do it like this. Roll me a opposed strength check.
Okay. I rolled a 2.
Okay.
Under 40, so 3 levels of success.
Okay, 3 levels of success. Let me make sure about this because I think he has advantage. He does have advantages because you're currently being grappled by him. So, Bragg, as he's tightening his arm around you, you begin to try to fight him off. And it's tight. And he squeezes hard. And as he squeezes, you're going to lose an additional, not as bad as it could have been, 9 wounds. But this bypasses toughness as he is literally compressing your throat. So you just take 9 wounds.
And then that takes me to 0 wounds, so I believe I'm unconscious.
You are technically prone. You're not unconscious yet. You will succumb to unconscious. You're being held aloft, but you will lose all strength in your body as you're beginning to go unconscious. You'll go unconscious in the next 3 rounds. What's your toughness bonus? Is it 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have 3 more rounds before, if you don't get some wounds in the next 3 rounds, you will go unconscious. Which brings us to Braggadine's turn. Would you like to attempt to do anything, Braggadine?
With all my strength, I whisper out, "Fair lady, please save me." Looking up at the sky,
and you're being choked out right now, so it's very yeah. You hope someone has heard you at this point, and then you feel another vicious blow to the body here. Why don't you go and roll me a D100 for this critical wound you're about to receive?
Oh, now we're starting a disadventure, right? There we go. I'm still so mad about my manuscript. 50.
50. You don't have any other wounds right now.
5-0.
So I will subtract a 40 off of that. Bring you to 10. Okay, I need you to make me an endurance test.
Okay.
Oh, you do have a plus 20
3?
on this test. Oh, shit, you're not going to need it anyway.
Yeah, 3
Yeah,
out of 72 then.
Yeah, you easily. And as you do, you now have the stunned condition, so you can enjoy that. And you manage to not puke everywhere in the process. But you are currently stunned for the next round. As this happens, so you need to survive 3 rounds. Well, 2 now, Mr. Bonneau. As this happens, Marius, I need you to make me a perception test.
Here it comes.
Natural one.
let's see.
Don't mind me, just a murder.
It's a 65 out of 57.
Marius,
Damn it.
you're walking down the street. You're walking down the street,
Sorry.
Marius, and you see this. You see kind of like a rough-looking guy with a silver-capped tooth, moving at a quick pace past you, and he's got a. It looks like he is currently like trying to tuck away even further, trying to hide a large envelope of some kind. And he's currently kind of trying to tuck it into this like rather small bag that he has on his waist. He's trying to tuck it in there. But you don't see or hear anything. You just keep on going past him, looking for Bragadine's place.
I don't know him or anything, do I?
No, you don't know him. Don't recognize him. Just some random kind of street-looking guy. You see them every once in a while in Sealburg. There is kind of a small, almost dingy part of town where kind of people like this gather. And lately, more of them than there was before. A lot of the people from the mine, actually, some of the portions of the mine recently have been shut down due to many accidents happening, and some of the miners are out of work. So maybe some of them have taken up residence there. Regardless, he passes by you and is looking hurriedly, not running, but moving at a fast pace, and you see or hear nothing. That brings us once again to Bragadine. You have an opportunity to do something before you receive another critical wound.
I'm going to try to squirm out again.
Okay, let me make sure with your stun condition you can do anything, because this is going to be fantastic if you can't. You can use a resolve point to remove it.
Okay.
Would you like to do so?
Let's do that. Let's use my one resolve point.
You use a resolve point to kind of shake yourself free. You also gain a 1 point of exhaustion, so you have a fatigue condition now.
Okay.
And you are free to do as you will. You're going to squirm again?
Yeah, I'm just going to try and kind of break free.
Okay.
Squirm out. Let me see here.
All right. Go ahead
Is that
and give
dex, or is that athletics, or is it just strength?
It's you. I will say this. I was giving you the benefit of a strength test. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's an opposed strength test, is what the rules are. Unless you can come up with some other.
These guys twice.
Unless you can preach to me, tell me what exactly you're going to do, and we'll figure out the test.
Can I kick this guy? Try to kick him? If I'm being held up, can I? I would think the bottom of my feet would be right about where his groin is. Can I?
Oh yeah.
Can I try and get
you
him
can.
a
Yeah,
savage
you
kick
can.
to
You
see
can
if he'll
try
let
it.
go of me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead. Make me a. It's just going to be a straight weapon skill, and you're currently at minus 10.
I'm just visualizing what would Marius do. Okay. I rolled a 20, and so weapon skill. So not melee basic, just weapon skill.
This is just weapon skill because you don't have any points in brawl. Marius does.
No,
you don't.
Okay, I've rolled 20 under 37.
Okay, so that's still a degree of success. So, Bragadine, you right into this dude's groin, hard. What's the damage on that?
That's gonna be just my strength.
Strength plus your success levels.
5.
So 5 total. 5 wounds. That's not bad. You and he kind of and as he does, he kind of slackens his grip. Doesn't completely let go of you, but his grip is definitely slackened. And as he does, the other guy's like, "Oh, hold him still! Hold him still!" You're getting a right hook across the face, Bragadine. Go ahead and since it's slackened, go ahead and you can give me a dodge basically at minus 10.
Did I get any momentum from that? It doesn't seem like.
I'll give you momentum, so you'll be even. That's fine.
Okay. 34. God damn it! I had to beat 33, and I rolled 34.
Oh.
So that's a failure.
You can use a fortune point to have a success, just to add a 10. So
let's use that last fortune.
So it's just a success. All right. So you have a success now, and it doesn't matter because I had like 5 levels of success, but that's fine. It's a good thing we got rid of that fortune point.
Thank you, Jumbo Thick. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Roll me another D100.
Happy New Year. No, you said roll a D100?
Yes, please. Please roll me one more D100.
Yeah, my bad. Here you go. I got you. 8.
8. That's good. That's good. Let's see here. Ooh.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. That's never a
all right.
Sound.
So he
makes that sound.
Boom! Right across the jaw. And as he does, your lip splits up, kind of in the direction towards your chin, and it's deep, and you are actively bleeding now. And as soon as he does, you have a bleeding condition, and because you have a bleeding condition, you are rendered unconscious because you're at 0 wounds.
I got that. Okay.
So it immediately hits you, and you just go limp, just boom. And that's the end of their turns. Marius, I need you to make me another perception test, and I hope you see it soon.
Oh, please.
Let's see here. I'll use a fortune because I failed.
Okay.
Marius, don't you remember that time he stabbed you in the back, though?
James, you have
Silence you.
a very good point, you know.
Hey.
Marius remembers. No.
But Bragadine wrote about you in such glowing terms.
Oh, did he? That one is a 28 out of 57.
Okay, so Marius, as you're walking by, you get to Bragadine's place, and then you hear a bam, just a smack of meat on meat, and you recognize it. That was a fist. And you can hear there's a bit of a struggle in an alley not too far away. It's up to you what you do.
Investigate.
You're going to investigate?
Question.
Yes.
Dean, question.
Yes.
I did switch careers recently.
You did?
Do I have my brass knucks?
Yeah, I'll give them to you. You can have them.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's so.
That's good, folks.
I probably won't be using my pick out in public too terribly much.
Yes, exactly.
Like that's
kind of slip those on.
So
as you're moving.
Yeah. So I kind of put my hands in my pockets and slipping on my knucks.
Okay, all right.
Just in case. Keeping them in my pockets while I move over there.
You hear a struggle, and you hear he's like, and you hear chuckling. He was easy. They didn't need to send the 3 of us. It's kind of a deep burl, more deep than I could possibly ever do voice. And you round the corner, Marius, and you see a large man. He's probably 6'6", 6'7", big guy, very meaty guy, holding but he's got muscle. Seamus is a pretty big dude, but this guy's bigger than Seamus. And you see he's holding Braggadine aloft, who's actively bleeding from his gaping open mouth. And it looks like most of his belongings have been stripped off his person. And there's another one who is standing, a more normal-sized fellow, dirty, filthy-looking guy, who glances over his shoulder as your shadow is kind of cast into the alley. Oi! You didn't say nothing! And he pulls a dagger out of his belt and points it in your direction, Marius.
Do I know that's Braggadine? I saw that. Yeah, I said that's Braggadine that I saw.
You can tell it's Braggadine. Yes.
Braggadine. Okay. I kind of look at him and just be like, "Mind if I? You like to punch a defenseless man, do you?"
Is that a rhetorical question, or is this an actual question?
It's a question.
It's a question. Yeah. Okay, he just kind of looks at you, head tilted. Snap his neck as he calls back. I need you to roll me initiative.
All right.
Before Braggadine has his head twisted off like a grape.
Jesus. That will be 11.
An 11? Okay.
Yeah.
You're first in the round, Marius.
All right.
So you have your turn to do right now. You hear him call that out. Everyone is within reach of each other. Well, you're probably about 10 feet from them. So up to you what you want to do.
Okay. I kind of picture, so I can reach the big guy too.
You could push past the more normal sized guy and get to the big guy if you wanted to. But you'd be in the middle of both of them. It's up to you.
Yeah. I'll probably just try to run up and crack the guy in front of me first.
Okay.
And then try to get to the guy behind him.
All right. Go ahead and give me an attack roll. He's going to attempt to dodge.
Okay. I'm gonna reroll.
Okay. Burn them all now. Let's get them out of the way, guys. Let's get them out of the way.
Get them out of the way. Get them out of the way. That's a lot better. That's a 14 out of 50.
Okay. All right. Yep. Damn. Yeah. That smoothly. He's got the knife in his right arm, and you move in purposefully towards him, and he's caught a little off guard, and you deliver a vicious blow to kind of like his he kind of steps in a little bit, and you rock him in his left kind of shoulder, and it hits hard, and you see him visibly move from the impact. How much damage is that?
Is brass knucks is 2, right?
It's 2, 2 plus your strength plus whatever other modifiers you have.
Okay, so that would be, let me see here. Plus 9.
Plus your success levels too. So
success levels was 3.
Okay, so
that's a 4.
So that's a minimum of 5 plus. Is yours 6 now? Your strength?
Well, I got strike mighty blow, so it's 6. My strength is 6, so it would be
7 plus
9
plus 5.
The 12.
So yeah, we're
12
looking
points
at
of damage.
Yeah, we're looking at a total of 12 points of damage from one fist. And you have two fists, Marius, as you deliver one to his shoulder. Now this is your offhand. So it's at a minus 20, but you can still rock him if you like.
Can I add the success level for my most recent hit?
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Okay. So minus 10. Let's see here. That'd be an 18 out of 40.
Jesus. And then you follow it up with another one, and he twists his shoulder again, and you nail him in almost the same spot. And he and he kind of slouches against the side of the alleyway. He looks really hurt, like severely hurt. He is holding a knife in his right arm still, and he kind of turns towards you, and before he can do anything, the big
That'd be
guy
11 points of damage for him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I figured it was something about the same.
Okay.
He's barely standing. He's barely holding himself up. The big guy, Bragadine, looks like he's conflicted on what he's going to do, and I'm going to have Bragadine roll me a. You know what? Heads or tails, Bragadine? Heads or tails? Heads, you live.
Oh, let's go heads. Heads.
Let's go heads? Okay. Let's go ahead and flip this real quick. The big guy, Bragadine, you feel his grip begin to tighten around your neck and begin to twist. But before he snaps you in two, he tosses you behind him, and you slump unconscious onto the ground, and he's going to try to grapple Marius Wolf. So, Marius, I need you to attempt a dodge.
Okay. Since he's grappling, can I try to defend with my melee?
Do you want him to get a hold of you?
Well, I don't.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say for these purposes, you can, if you want to defend with your fists, I will allow you to lock with him, because this is like a move and a grapple. If you want to defend with your fists, it'll be like grab his hands and kind of lock up. You technically will be restrained for purposes of fighting the other guy. But you're kind of restraining him as well, or you can attempt the dodge to move out of the way. It's up to you.
Okay. Then I guess I'll dodge then.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a dodge.
Okay, I can use my success level on dodge, right?
Yes. Yeah, you get your success levels for dodge.
That would be a 41 out of 55.
Okay, you easily skip to the side, and he kind of past you, and he's kind of behind you at the moment. He's like, kind of like stupidly looking around. Bragadine, that brings me to your turn. Roll me a D100, Bragadine. If you roll above a 90, you just bled out in this alley.
And we're out of fortune points too, I think.
Oh wait, do you have any resolve left?
No.
You have no resolve left.
I only had one resilience point, so I thought
holy
we had
shit,
resolve points equal to our.
Got it. Okay, so let's roll this D100.
Yeah. I rolled a. I was hoping that was 19, but it's 61.
Okay, you're good. You're good. You don't die instantly, but unfortunately, you can't do anything. You're unconscious, bleeding out now. In 3 more rounds, Bragadine will die from his wounds, no matter what now. Or 2 now. 2 more rounds. So, that brings us to the next guy, Marius, as the man with the knife. Oh, you big oaf! Turn around! Grab a hold of him! And he's going to attempt to stab you, Marius. I would suggest you dodge it.
Yes, I will do so.
Okay, go ahead and attempt to dodge, please.
That's a 37 out of 65.
Okay, once again, you move out of the way as it looks like he was going for kind of a gut shot. He was trying to pierce you, and you kind of step to the side. It is your turn, Marius.
All right, I'm gonna try to punch the guy.
That just stabbed you?
Nice. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and make me a roll.
Ooh, nice. That's a 77 out of 90.
How would you like
yeah,
to... 90. Are you trying to kill this man, or are you trying to knock him unconscious?
I think I'm gonna knock this one unconscious.
Okay. All right. I'm assuming it's gonna be a... Well, you tell me. How do you do it?
I guess like kind of if he just tried to stab me, I like to just kind of like grab him by the side of the head and slam him against the wall.
Yes.
And just kind of knock him out, you know.
Yep. And he loses the grip on his knife. He's instantly asleep as he falls to the ground. He may also be on the way of dying because Marius Wolf hit him very hard. You still have your other fist if you want to take a shot at the big guy.
I will.
Okay.
I will take a shot at him. So
his back's to you, so you get a plus 20 to this.
Ooh, wow. Let me try to do the math. Okay, so since my weak hand, I don't get any bonuses.
You get a
right?
Well, you get a minus 20, and I think you still
Plus
because
20, so it cancels.
Yeah. So it cancels out.
But I get my momentum, right?
Yes, you do. You get your momentum.
Okay, cool. So that would be. Well, that's kind of interesting. I got a 100, and I'm at 5 success levels.
So, are you above 100 now?
I'm at 100 exactly with this.
Oh my god, that's lucky. Roll me a D100. We'll see how he's pretty stout dude.
Okay. That is a 86.
86. Okay, give me one more.
Uh, 57.
You lash out. Technically, this actually isn't with your fist. This is actually with your leg. You stomp towards this other man's leg, and you catch him in the back of his left knee, and you hear a sickening popping noise as it dislocates. And he goes, "Ah!" and screams out and falls to the ground, clutching at his knee. You have torn the muscles in his legs, and he is currently prone, laying there. Is that the end of your turn,
Nice.
Marius?
Marius will just kind of talk some shit. You know, he's gonna say, "What's wrong, big man?"
All right. And as you're doing that, bracketing, roll me another D100 to see if you die during Marius's showboating.
Hell yeah, I got a showboat. I can't deal right now.
Ooh, what were we trying to beat?
I hope for your sake you rolled below a 90.
I barely did.
Okay.
83.
Okay, good. So you have one more round, bracketing, before you succumb to death. That brings us to Marius Wolf. Because the big man is attempting to crawl away from you.
Can I? So if he fails one more roll, he's gonna die.
Yes. Well, no, he's gonna die no matter what next round. Like even if he can't,
Okay.
he's gonna bleed out. Yeah.
What I would know this. I can tell.
Yeah, you could tell his like he's getting paler and paler, and you've seen people get knocked out before, but he looks like he's beginning to stop breathing. So,
okay. DM question.
Yes.
I got 2 attacks. Could I just lay one on this big guy, then walk over and?
It's gonna be this is a pivotal moment, Marius. You can either let this man begin to crawl away and attempt to take care of Bragadine, or you can pummel him and then let Bragadine die, because that's what's going to happen. So the choice is yours.
I'll go help Bragadine.
I know what Seamus would do.
Yeah, it's true. I'll go help Bragadine.
Okay,
try to do a mess and check out.
You need to make me a heal test, sir.
All right. That is a 23 out of 37.
Okay, you manage to stop the bleeding, Marius, so he's in no longer danger of bleeding to death. But he is still currently unconscious. It will take another action to rouse him. So the big man crawls away even further. And if you leave him like this, he's going to die. So the big man crawls out into the street at this point. And then he begins to try to...
at fast pace?
He's moving as quick as he can, which is not very fast. He's at half his movement.
I'm going to come for you, you fat fuck. And,
okay. All right. And he's around the corner at this point. And I'm going to say you're able to rouse Bragadine. You just give him a couple slaps. And we're going to hard cut to Mr. McCready. Seamus.
Yes.
Sorry you had to sit through all that. But some shit happened that wasn't supposed to happen. It's fine. It's fine. Seamus, you are currently out in the wilderness on your patrol. Go ahead and give me a perception test.
24 out of 51.
24 out of 51. That's pretty damn good. So, Seamus, you're on your horse. As well, you have Bertrand and Giggles with you, kind of following closely behind. They're currently bantering back and forth. By bantering, Bertrand is basically telling Giggles about his conquest the previous night at the the Silk Canary.
She was like, she was, she wasn't that big. She was decent sized lass, but, the boss here understands.
And I'm assuming you don't say anything back. You just keep moving. And you hear something, Seamus, in the distance. And it's not just the tales of Bertrand's love of large women. It is it sounds like a spooking of horses up ahead. Because you are on the main road in and out of Sealburg. What would you like to do?
Tell us two to quiet down and kind of start to canter a little quicker. What does that sound?
All right. Are you? So you're moving quickly, essentially. We're not trying to stealth our way up there. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I'd be moving quicker than just a walking pace.
Okay. And you begin moving quickly in the direction. It takes about a little bit of a wind in the road, and there are the thick trees. The paths are 20 feet wide on the street, so you have the nice cobbled street, and then you have it's not exactly cobbled, but it is paved in a way. And then at a certain point out into the country, it turns into just a dirt path that leads to many of the other towns and trade routes. But you're still on the paved portion. And you've got 20 feet total before you have thick woods on each side. You've spent considerable time on this road, and you know it well. And you come around the bend and you see up ahead of you, you see a wagon. The horses are thrashing back and forth, and the rider is clutching at his throat as there is a steel bolt put through his throat, and he's currently gasping. And they are about 70, 80 feet in front of you, and around him you see 6 brigands of a sort, wearing just an amalgamation of like leather armor. Someone has a chain shirt on, and you can tell that these are definitely bandits of some kind. And judging from the equipment they have, they are definitely of Three Fingers posse. What would you like to do?
80 feet away?
80 feet is where the current like carriage and all of its goods are currently being assailed. I will say you would also notice that there is another figure on a horse a little bit further back. Definitely another bandit of some kind. But this one has much nicer looking, like very well tended to leather armor, and they're sitting on a horse.
Is there backs to us?
A couple of them are, but then the leader can see you. You're assuming it's the leader because he's on a horse. You can definitely see the three of you around the corner as you weren't moving at a very stealth pace.
In that case, I'll shout out, "Hey! Stop right there!" And I'll kind of gallop.
Okay.
Like in a gallop towards them.
All right. And as you gallop towards them, Seamus, Bertrand and Giggles kind of quickly begin. It takes them a second. They're not as quick on what's happening as you are. And they're following behind you. And as you do, you see the leader on the horse. Hurry up, lads! That's the headsman! And as he says that, you see just a little bit of fear in some of the people's eyes as they glance back at you. And he draws a pistol from his... Well, actually, no, he actually has a rifle. He draws a rifle off of his back and levels it at you, Seamus, and he's going to try to kill you.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that's a hit. That's a hit.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and he rolled even, unfortunately. Seamus, you're going to take 16 wounds.
Oh, shit. Career cut short.
As he boom, and it takes you below the plate of your mask. It bypasses your plate armor on your head and takes you through the throat.
Face?
He shot you in the head area.
Damn.
And he right through the throat. You can't subtract your toughness bonus. So are you still up?
Yes.
Okay, and you kind of clutch at with your offhand, your left hand. You're still holding the reins with your right hand. I need you to make me a ride check to see if you aren't dehorsed.
All right. That is a 4.
Oh yeah, you definitely you manage to keep the reins. You keep the reins, and and it hurts bad. It's probably a pretty serious wound, but you have your hand upon it, and you hear Bertrand, "Boss, no!" And they're coming behind you as quick as they can. I need you to roll initiative, Seamus.
All right. Let's see, it's 4. 8.
Okay. So, Seamus, you see as several of the brigands, or the bandits, are they're quickly converging on the back of this carriage. They're tearing the, what do you call that? The hide covering of the wagon, like the backside of it. They're tearing through it, and they're beginning to pull out the goods inside, large boxes of stuff, and they're tossing them to each other very quickly. They still look terrified of your presence in coming in, especially since you just took a shot to the what seemingly the head, and you're still coming. The leader with the rifle looks like he's frantically trying to reload it at this point. Looks like he's not having a very easy time of doing so on horseback. But it appears his horse is used to the sound of gunfire, and yours probably is as well. So it doesn't spook easily. But I am going to... So yeah, that. All right, Seamus, moment of truth here. Let's see what happens. You hear a... Seamus, and you have just enough time to glance up, and in the trees there are 2 people in a nearby tree. They are definitely bandits, and they have crossbows. And a bolt barely skims by you, just... and plants into the ground nearby on your full run. The second one looks like it is shot out towards Bertrand and Giggles, and
Oh, no.
you don't hear anything. So you're assuming it missed.
Oh.
And that is now your turn, Seamus. It looks like 2 of the bandits have turned around and are looking wide-eyed at you. Looks like they're going to bolt at any minute, but you're definitely within range of converging on them if you'd like.
All right, so there's 2 in the trees, 6
Yes.
on the ground.
6 on the ground, and then you have the captain
leader.
further back. Yes.
All right. Are the 2 in the trees like close enough to me? Like, are they the closest to me?
They are up. They're near where the actual wagon is. So they're right on the fringe. They're on your right side. They both looks like they have positions up there. Well, actually, there would be one on your left side. There's one on each side of the path. It looks like this is where the ambush happened, literally. So they're within,
Right.
As soon as you make it to the wagon, they're only going to be within 15 feet or so, like up.
All right. In that case, so I've made it to the wagon.
Yes, you will have, if you choose so, you will converge and make it to the wagon quickly.
And what I'd probably do then is after taking the shot is kind of like veer off, kind of like slide off of Rachel,
Okay.
get into the tree line, and I like to keep the Thunderer kind of wrapped up in like
Yes.
a cloth on the back
Yeah.
of the horse.
Yeah.
So in the process of that, pull that out,
Oh, yeah.
use the tree as cover, and then peek around and shoot one of the guys in the trees.
Okay, give me a shot.
I bleed out of my throat. Ooh, that's another 4.
Ooh, total damage. It's going to be significant, I'm sure.
It is. So it's accurate, so it's an automatic plus 10.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get 4 out of 76. Let's do some math here.
That's 7 degrees of success, plus whatever.
Yeah, that's 7 degrees plus the 10 that the Thunder does.
Yes.
So we're looking at 18, because it also gets 1.
18. Yes.
It's also precise.
Yeah, so you, boom, shot rains out as you level it at, I'm going to assume you duck to the left. So the one on the right is the one that you have the best aim at right now, and you blast a shot out, and easily you take his head clean off. His head disintegrates into a pink mist. And the body just falls limp out of the trees and thuds. And I need to make cool tests because that is extremely loud. The horses on the wagon are bucking, and they snap free of the tethers, taking them to the wagon, and just bolt off in random directions. As well, several of the bandits drop what they're carrying and just flee into the woods away from you. As far as that, they're just running. There's still the man in the tree, and you have one person on the ground, plus the captain of these bandits, the leader of the bandits, is still frantically trying to reload his rifle. Would you like to do anything else, Seamus?
As my free action, I'd like to shout out to Bertram and Giggles and tell them to take cover.
Okay. And it's going to be their turn now, so they're going to, "All right, boss, And he, come, Giggles! And they duck off into the woods a little bit further back from you, but they duck off into the woods. And they are dismounted, and you hear a thoop, thoop, as 2 crossbow bolts are let loose from their direction. And, yep, they both thud into the man in the tree nearby above you. And he as he falls out of the tree and splats, probably within like 5-10 feet of you on the ground, definitely dead, with 2 bolts sticking out of his chest. The remaining bandit on the ground looks like he grabs whatever loot he's carrying, and he bolts off in the direction that the other bandits were fleeing. The captain of the guard, the bandits, looks like he just finishes reloading his rifle, and he's going to take aim, Seamus.
All right.
And you hear a click and no boom. And he's like, son of a bitch! And he throws it down, and he's on his horse, and he begins running off into the woods himself. So it is now your turn, Seamus. What would you like to do?
Oh, is he within 20 feet for a pistol shot?
I will say he's on a horse and he's moving quick. He's probably at least 60 feet, if not more, from you. And he's ducking into the woods at this point. Like you see him go down the path, and he's getting into the woods. If you want to pursue, you can.
By the time I reload, he'll be.
You could always just go for him. Get on your horse.
No, well, I'll let this one slide. I will, considering the coast is clear, come out from the trees and check on this guy and see if I can help him.
Okay, you come out of the trees. Give me a perception test.
A 28 out of 51.
Okay, you begin glancing about as you slowly emerge from the tree line, still kind of clutching the open wound on your neck. Looking around, you can hear the hoarse whinnying of the bandit leader as he's fleeing away from you. But you can definitely hear the bandits that were on foot off to your right, running through the woods. It sounds like they're not too far away. If you move up to the coachman, as you're moving to him, you see that there are several dead guards that were guarding this coach that have been cut to pieces, and they're laying dead around it. And of course, there's 1 or 2 bandits that you guys didn't slay that looks like they fell in their attack. You go to move up to the coachman, and and you see his eyes just roll in the back of his head, and he goes limp, and he's dead before you even get to him. Would you like to?
In that case, can I do a heal check on myself to patch my wound?
Sure. You can attempt a quick heal, quick field triage. And I'll say at this point, Bertrand and Giggles move up to you, and Bertrand's like, oi, Giggles, the boss. And Giggles comes, and I'll give you assistance on this roll as Giggles is attempting to help you. So you'll get a plus 10.
Ooh, nice. In that case, that's a 48 out of 61.
Okay, so your intelligence bonus plus your success levels. You managed to patch yourself up. Sweet. Kind of wrap some cloth that Giggles had around it, and kind of staunch the flow. And you've healed a little bit of your vitality back. There's still the option, Seamus. You know these woods well enough, if you would like to pursue.
Oh, I had to pursue on foot, though, if the woods are
I mean, you have your horse is nearby. You could call her.
Probably not. Probably inspect this area.
Okay. All right. You begin looking over the. I'm assuming you're inspecting what they were taking.
Yeah, see if any of the guys, like the two guys that fell out of trees, if any of them are still alive.
You go to move towards them, and they're definitely dead. You can see that they all have a similar kind of, though they're all wearing different kind of garb. They all have that similar motif painted on one of their articles of clothing. That is, it looks like a hand, except for it's missing the pinky and the ring finger. So it's just 3 fingers. So obviously this is the Bandit Three Fingers crew. They're all definitely dead. You see that the wagon is supplies. Specifically, these look like they were all going to Mr. Gold. And you're not sure what's missing. But a lot of it you kept from being stolen.
What specific items?
Okay. I need you to give me one more perception check to glance through everything quickly.
That is an 8.
Okay. How many success levels is that?
4.
Out of 4. Okay, so 4 success levels. So with that, you begin. I mean, you were a toll keeper at one point. I mean, you've dealt with Mr. Gold's dealings very often, and you begin to kind of piece together that most of these wagons that keep getting raided are Mr. Gold's wagons. There's definitely something unusual about it. You do notice that, judging from the list of items that you managed to procure off of the dead coachman, because he actually has a list of everything, that you see that there was actually a great deal of food on this wagon that has been taken. There's also a great deal of ale that obviously large barrels were probably removed somewhat before you got here. Probably not too far. There's also, it says that there are mining supplies for the mine, but with your 4 levels of success, you glance at some of the boxes. There's no way in hell they have what they say they are inside of them, which will lead you to suspect that a lot of the stuff on this list is probably not what it says it is.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to try? Would you like to try to pry one open?
Yes, I would.
You kind of hop up in there, and Bertrand's like, "Oi, boss, should I go back to the? Should I go get the others?"
Bertrand, hold on. We've got to see what we've got here.
All right, and you pry the lid off of one of these boxes, and as it falls away, you see a collection of arms, specifically crossbows and ammunition, in this first box. Definitely not on the list.
Interesting.
Care to open up any other ones?
I would. I like to open as many as I can.
Okay. There's at least 6 more boxes on here. 3 of them contain food. They actually do contain food, mostly dried goods, and it looks like Mr. Gold has been branching out into all kinds of different places. You do find another box that does have mining equipment of some kind. It has like a few picks and various things of rope and just stuff that they would be using in the mine. You find 2 of those, but the last box you move to open up, and as you open it up, you see 4 flintlock pistols, very similar to the one you have of your own, and there is a collection of black powder and ammunition if you pull through the rest of this box. And that's where we're going to take our first break, boys. That's what we're going to end it there.